So I need to ask, sir, what is religion?
Religion.
So why do we pray?
Why do we pray? What's your name? Sanjana. What is religion? Why do we pray? The mind is off center. It remains distracted, a little away from its core. And that is the reason it feels restive, uneasy. That is why there is always an urge to achieve, reach somewhere, to feel fulfilled. All of that is because the mind is not really at its center. Religion is the way that brings the lost mind back to its center, its home. Are you getting it? That is religion. Now, when you are away from your home, then what brings you back that way too is not really your home. Is not really your home. It's a path in a space, an area other than your home. So essentially, religion consists of saying something to the mind, doing things that calm the mind down, all in the domain of mind itself. But the central purpose, as you would be seeing by now, of religion is to bring man back to where he really belongs. His center, his core, his essence. And that is also the test of true religion. Does it distract you further? Does it make you even more lost? Or does it help you return? Are you getting it? Now, because everybody is at a different point, everybody is conditioned differently, hence everybody is at a different point in his own universe, which means that everybody will have to find a separate way to come back. You see, there is a center, and then there is a three-dimensional space around it, just modeling, and everybody is at a different point in that space. So if you want to come back, you will have to have a unique trajectory. Just as you are unique in your conditioning, Everybody has a different past, right? So everybody is conditioned differently in that sense. We all are conditioned. To that extent, there is a commonality. But we all are conditioned differently. To that extent, there is diversity. Right? So there has to be a different path for everybody. Hence, when you talk of religion or dharma, the true religion is Swadharma. Swadharma indicates your own unique path depending upon the configuration, the unique configuration of your mind. That is religion. Putting it in other words, we all are conditioned, right? We all are conditioned. Religion is that which reduces our conditioning and brings us back to our original, innocent, clean self. Does that make it clear? The mind is carrying a lot of load of experiences, imprints, influences, the entire history that it is carrying, all the hurt that is there, all the stuff that has been fed into it, all that is there in the mind, right? And that is what is called suffering. That is what makes mind and life heavy. All that we are carrying here unnecessarily. Religion is that which helps reduce this burden. Hence, the objective of all religion is a light, clean, pure, empty mind. That is the final objective of all religion. Are you getting it? Religion, therefore, is not about set rituals. Religion, therefore, is not about following particular pattern. Religion, in fact, is that which breaks the pre-existing patterns. You see, patterns are already there, are they not? We all live in patterns, habits. We all live in patterns. Now, if religion happens to give us a few more habits, a few more patterns, then is religion increasing our mental load or decreasing it? So that cannot be religion. That is just a mistake. True religion, therefore, is a bit of a rebellion. It is every bit a rebellion. Because true religion means getting rid of all the certainties in mind. True religion means getting rid of what you usually consider precious and important. True religion means nothing will stay in this mind except the very truth. Everything else will be examined, seen in its totality, and hence rejected in favor of the truth. Nothing will remain here except the one single clean truth. That brings us to the issue of religions. Surely there can be only one true religion, right? What is that one true religion which brings you back to your center? Then why do we have religions? How come there are hundreds of religions? Do you know that there are hundreds of religions in the world? You can just call them cults. What happens is that something really beautiful happens in time. A master arrives. Light spreads through him. And whatever he is saying or doing is arising from his own realization. It is not coming from a conditioned self. And because it is not coming from the conditioned self, it is said to come from the divine center. That is why it is also said that it is the voice of God. When you say that something is voice of God, all it means is that it is not the voice of ego. You too can speak in the voice of God. When the mind is not speaking from its false center, the center of ego, then whatever you utter is the divine voice. It is the voice of God. So time and again you have these instances. Where there are people who have said beautiful things. There are books that if you read in a meditative way, the mind undergoes a transformation. Its diseases are healed. And the impact of such people is large. It ought to be large. What they say does not come from a pattern. It comes from their realization. It does not come from following a tradition. It is altogether new and fresh, not conventional. But after they are gone, then their actions, their words, they become another pattern. And hence what you get is another religion. Are you getting it? We do not know the center from which they were operating, because to know that center, we need to be at our own center. We do not know from where their voice was coming. So very conveniently we say that it is the voice of God, as if we know God. We just say it is the voice of God. We do not know really from where their voice was coming. We have no connection to that, because only an innocent mind can have a connection to that point. So what do? We start copying their actions. obviously their realization cannot be copied, right? Somebody's understanding cannot be copied. The center from where everything was emanating, that cannot be copied. So what do we copy? Their actions. And this copying of actions and words, we start calling as religion. No, this is not religion. This is foolishness. Are you getting it? Religion is that which leads to your awakening. Religion is that which leads to your awakening. Not that which helps you in remaining more asleep. What do we see happening in the name of religion? Do we see a transformation of mind? Do we see the urge to demolish the structure of conditioning? Or do we see people becoming more intransigent, more unaccommodative, more unwilling to listen to anything except their own point of view? It is leading to a hardening of patterns. Instead of a supple mind, what we are getting is a more obdurate mind. That cannot be religion. And the tragedy is, we even have wars in the name of religion. How can there be wars in the name of religion? Religion is an entirely individual thing. Religion is my own way to return to my core, right? Religion is like my own personal treatment. Now, what do I mean by fighting with somebody in the name of religion? Can there be something more stupid than this? And how can religion have a particular name? And how can groups be called religious groups? When religion is such an individual thing, how can there be religious groups? And how can people count the number of followers of a religion? It is not a coincidence that the world is suffering so much. It is not a coincidence that we are on the brink of destruction. The only thing that can save us is religion. But there is no word more abused today than religion. Religion today is in fact a dirty word. Don't we know that? We use religion to justify all our stupidities. We even have terrorism in the name of religion. Great wars have been fought in the name of religion. Crusades. Have you heard of these wars? These lasted hundreds of years. So the only thing that can save man is what man has turned into his poison. Religion should have been the force of emancipation. Instead, it has become the force of destruction. Because we do not know religion. In the name of religion, all that we know is rituals. Rituals and rituals. That is why on this Diwali, all of you would have received these continuous messages from Advait. Did you? Lots of posters continuously. we were trying to bring to you the essence of religion. Is Diwali about going back home, indulging again in your set routines that you anyway follow, eating a lot of sweets and oil, then using small electric bulbs to light up your home, then bursting crackers, then unnecessarily saying Happy Diwali to everybody when there is in fact hardly anything happy about it? But that is what we have turned religion into. That's a false religion. It is just a set of practices that you are following. Since childhood, you have seen that Diwali means new clothes, sweets, food, lights, and crackers. Is there anything more to Diwali? And all that we have just listed is mere actions, right? Repeated actions, one year after the other, one year after the other, the same kind of actions. How can repetition lead to freshness? It can only lead to reinforcement of that which is anyway there. The essence of religion, I'm repeating, lies in getting rid of your conditioning. That is the one and only purpose of religion. And anything that does not rid you of your conditioning is highly irreligious. It is not religion at all. This that we are doing here right now is a religious activity. But this doesn't look like religious activity, right? Had we been doing this in a temple, then you would have said, oh, probably it is religious. This is the most religious activity that can be done. That is happening here right now. This entire process that you are undergoing, your HIDP, is a religious process in the truest sense of the word. Why? Because it is helping you get rid of your conditioning. And that is what religion is. The mind has dirt. Religion is like taking bath. You understand this? The mind keeps on gathering dirt from influences, from training, from experiences. Religion is the sacred bath. The sacred bath that cleans all the dirt of the mind. But instead, we have turned religion into gathering more dirt. Do you return with a clean, light, and innocent mind after your festivals? Usually, we return with more dirt, more conditioning, more calories, and more weight. Is that not so? After all, religions are about eating good. Eat this, eat that. Religion is that which brings you to your center of peace, not the center of disturbance or violence. Then how can you have all kinds of disruptive activities in the name of religion or festivals? And in fact, we have festivals in which you have rampant violence. Animals are being slaughtered. Now, how can that be religion? Is religion about peace or is religion about violence? The masters, the saints, the prophets who spoke in the divine voice, would be the first one to denounce our practices. They would be the first one to say, no, 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 this is not Diwali. No, this is not Eid. What you are doing is something else. It is your cheap entertainment. This is not religion. You are giving just another name to your cheap and vulgar tendencies. You want to titillate yourself, you want to have more merriment and entertainment. You start calling it Diwali or Christmas. You want to eat food that is tantalizing to the tongue. You start saying that let's cook this sweet, or let's kill this animal and eat its flesh. What does this have to do with religion? You don't need to follow practices to be religious. Religiousness is the simplest act of all. Whenever you can be peaceful and silent, you are religious. You need not wear some kind of an identification mark. You need not even go to a temple. A tree, a simple tree, if you can watch it in attention and peace, it is a religious activity. Are you getting it? If you can relate to somebody without comparison, without domination, without fear, in simple, healthy love, if you can relate, this is religion. And you need not declare the name of that religion, because religion cannot have any name. Do you have multiple sciences? When you are looking at the facts of the physical world, do you have multiple sciences? Do you have a Hindu science and a Muslim science and a Christian science? Do you have that? Then how can you have multiple religions? Because even the inner truth is one. In fact, the inner truth is more one than the external facts. There is a possibility that what appears to be true today will be falsified tomorrow. Inside, nothing can be falsified. There is only one truth. So how can you have several religions? You see, what a Kabir says in India in the 15th century has also been said by a Jesus 1500 years prior to Kabir, in a land that Kabir never went to. What a Lao Tzu is saying in China is so similar to what a Heraclitus is saying in Europe. How is it possible? There are thousands of kilometers and thousands of years away, apart. How are they saying the same thing? Because religion is one. That is why what a Farid says and what a Mira says is essentially the same thing. And Farid and Mira never met each other. And there were no mobile phones. Yet what they are saying is the same. How is it possible? It is possible because the internal truth is one. There is no question of multiple truths. Are you getting this? That is the first part of your question. The second part is, what is prayer? Usually when we pray, that is either demanding or begging. Is that not so? Praying is want, it's desire. I am praying for something. Now, what can I pray for? What will I pray for? If I pray for something, what will I pray for? I am a man who is spending his life just to get more power and more money. So even if I go to a temple, what will I pray for? Power and money. Now how will that help? I am already diseased, and what am I praying for? More disease. So that is the fact of our prayer. You are standing and wishing that the neighbor's house collapses. God, please, within 2 days. And you are in fact intent upon bribing God also. If that happens, I will distribute sweets and give something to you as well in commission. So students, when exams approach, you see them queuing in front of temples. I don't have a son. Pray. India is losing a cricket match. Pray. I committed a robbery and now police is coming to catch me. Pray. Now what kind of prayer is this? You even have specialists in prayers these days. I was seeing an ad. So there the fellow says that I know some kind of Vashikaran Prarthana. So if the girl is not responding to your proposals, come and pray. Now what kind of prayer is this? And keep in mind, whenever you will pray, the prayer will only be of this nature, because what else will you pray for? You will only pray for the fulfillment of your desires, right? Bottom line, full stop. What else can you pray for? You will only pray for what you want. And what do you want? You want only that which you have been conditioned to want. Simple. Right? Now this kind of prayer obviously has no value. It is just self-deception. You are fooling yourself. And you are also trying to fool God. Real prayer is a life of surrender. Real prayer is when you say that if I pray, then that prayer is worthless. So I won't even pray. Whatever I do would always be tainted with my incompleteness. Real prayer is such a deep surrender that I am not even going to ask something because I do not know what is good for me. I am leaving everything to existence. It is a deep, deep surrender of the ego. It is not about going and claiming or demanding or begging. It is about just being silent. Just being silent. It is not about raising a hue and cry, a clamor, shout, going and turning emotional. Real prayer is not about 5 minutes in front of a deity or 5 minutes in a temple or a mosque. Real prayer is an entire life of submission. I submit to the divine will. Real prayer is not about going and saying for 2 minutes, God, you are great, God, you are great, and then coming out and then saying, I am great. Have you heard that story? So there is that king, and somebody comes and tells him that, the most beneficial and the highest act is to kneel down in prayer. Is to kneel down in prayer. So the king says, in everything else I am great. I must achieve greatness on this front as well. So he goes to the mosque, and in sajda he is continuously uttering that God, I am the poorest of poor. Though I am the king, yet I have nothing because everything belongs to you. I am the poorest of poor. I am the poorest of poor. But then another beggar comes, kneels down adjacent to him, and the beggar is also saying, Ya Allah, I am the poorest of poor. I am the poorest of poor. Please help me. So the king hears this. All right. Then he comes out of the temple. He catches hold of the beggar and says, he must be flogged. Punish him hard. How can he be the poorest? I am the poorest. I am the topmost poor. You see, even in being poor, I must be the topmost poor. That is the competitive mind. After all, I am a king. When I am a winner, I must be the biggest winner. And when I am poor, then I must be the poorest poor. So how dare this beggar say that he is poor? When I was claiming that I am poor, how can you claim you are poor? I am the number one poor. You should have just said, God, I am number two poor. After him, help me. That is the quality of our prayer. We bring all our ego to the temple as well. So somebody is going to kill somebody, and he will bring his revolver to the temple. Ma, bless me with this weapon. Today I must succeed. And the priest will come and put a mark on his forehead. Yes, today. Go. Tonight it surely is. Yes, it happens. If you look at gangsters and criminals, most of them are very religious people. Very, very religious. They will not kill somebody without praying. It is such an irreligious thing, Before every murder, there must be a prayer. You have all these fugitives who are now outside India. Somebody is hiding in Dubai, somebody in Karachi. They all are very religious people. And a lot of misdeeds that they did, bomb explosions, this and that, were done in the name of religion. Do you understand what prayer is? Prayer is not 5 minutes of closing your eyes and standing with your hands folded. Your entire life is the biggest prayer. How are you living? If you are living in surrender, that itself is your prayer. Then you need not find out a special 5-minute time in your routine. That in the morning I pray, and in the evening I again pray. And what do you do in between? I kill, loot and rape. Now, obviously that cannot be prayer. Your life itself is a prayer. A surrendered mind. What do you do in prayer, right? You bow down, right? You bow down, don't you? What do you mean by this? Have you ever thought about it? What do you mean by bowing down your head? What does head indicate? Head indicates ego. The brain, which is the cause of all mischief. The ego. Bowing down your head means I am now surrendering this in front of something that is total, complete, very immense, infinitely large. And you must live in that submission. Not only pretend that submission. One has to live in that submission. When one lives in that submission, then one's own likes, dislikes and choices, they become secondary. Then one cannot remain ambitious. Then one cannot say that so many responsibilities are upon me. Oh my God, what is going to happen? Are you getting this? How can you be prayerful with an insecure mind? How can you be prayerful if you are insistent that I will follow all kinds of traditions and conventions? How can prayer come to you if you are holding on to your fears? The mind is very cunning. It co-opts everything. Beautiful songs have been written. Beautiful sentences have been composed as prayers, that let this be the prayer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. But the mind co-opts it. And there can be no higher words than these. But what does the mind do? The mind takes them in and makes them part of its own cunning game plan. The words might be beautiful, but words are just words. Even the highest word is just a word, right? Hence, it is best not to say anything, not to use any word. Just be fully silent, fully silent. That internal silence, that cleanliness is prayer. Whenever you are silent, you are prayerful. Will you remember this? And by silent, I do not mean that you are not saying anything or speaking anything. I am talking about the inner silence. I'm not saying that your lips will not utter anything and the entire day you will remain dumb. You can keep speaking, you can keep talking, acting, moving, running, eating, studying, whatever you are doing. But if there is silence deep in the mind, in the heart, then you are continuously in prayer. And that's beautiful. That's the only thing that can be beautiful. Yes?